Hello, folks. How are you doing today? I thought I'd do a little video blog because I've been remittent in actually updating my actual blog last month. I only had one update in April, so I thought in May I would work a little harder because I was already halfway through, and I still only had one update for the month of May. So things were not looking at their best there. Let's talk a little bit about just what Rite Publishing is doing. That's what we primarily work on. It's what I work towards all the time here. Um, Talking a little bit. Start with Lost in Dream. We'll start with our fiction, because I don't. I want to tease you so that you go all the way to the end to find out what you really want to listen to. Lost in Dream is the novel that we're working on. It was written by Matt Bannock. Uh, Really good novel so far. I've been reading my way through it personally. It's already been edited by our editor. I already knew Matt was an amazing writer. Just one second. Pardon me. So we already knew that Matt was an amazing author, and that Dave Paul has edited the book, and it's in layout now. Layout for this is pretty easy because it's a novel rather than a traditional publishing book. There's not a lot of art that I have to insert or anything like that. Got a gorgeous cover by Jason Rainville that I've been really pleased with. Um, and we're just waiting on the back cover before that finally goes out to our Kickstarter backers. So that's where I'm at with that. And it's one thing with Matt that I really didn't have to worry about this project. He's an incredibly reliable author. I recommend anybody out there hiring him. Matt also works on our Gossamer Worlds line. I'll be talking a little more about that later. But he was one of two people that I really would have chosen to do this, and I'm really glad I chose Matt because it really worked out. Moving on, our miniatures game, which we have been pretty much had in development, has kind of completely gone on the sidelines. The gentleman I was working with, who is the lead on this, has just been sidelined by a lot of stuff. And of course, you had WizKids doing a lot with Pathfinder battles and with the D&D miniatures game. So we're trying to get a handle on how the market's going to wind up for a skirmishers miniatures game, especially since we don't have a miniatures line. I had reached out to the Reaper folks, but they just didn't seem really interested in the idea. Because I thought that would have been a really great thing. So I'm not entirely sold on the idea of a generic miniatures game, but yet again, it has some really interesting possibilities and fun when you can make it work with any miniature. But how do you make that grow? How do you make that work better? That's the kind of thing that I was looking for with that for the skirmishers game. But again, not every all the plans of mice and men. It's you have to let stuff go, and the miniatures game may not be something that we're able to pull off. I still have a lot of hope for it, but at some point you just you stand back and go, it's not time right now. Maybe it'll be time a year from now. Maybe it'll be 2 years from now that we get it off. We'll see where we're at. Dungeon World, something completely new and different that Rite Publishing is doing, working with an Alex Putman has already got the Missing Paths Alchemist complete. The idea is that we wanted to Dungeon World uses a lot of the old school and style, and we thought we would bring a little bit of the new to the old school. So Alex brought up the idea of taking some of the really interesting and new Pathfinder classes that are OGL and adapting them to Dungeon World. So that's going to be a real interesting and fun idea, I think. It's just a tremendous amount of entertainment for me for Dungeon World to see this done. I brought in a really talented artist that I think will work really well with this because we commissioned a new piece of artwork for the Alchemist here so that it would work with Dungeon World. Like I said, every time you go into something new, you kind of want to make a splash. So I thought we had an artist who recently did if you've seen our Naga Banshee cover, the Serpent Folk, or we sometimes call them a Yanti Banshee, because I had a Banshee creature template that I was working on. She did the cover to that issue of Pathways, and I was real impressed with her work. And she came back to us and was asking me specifically, Steve, hey, do you have some? I'd like to do some additional work for you. Do you have anything? And I have a pile of work, but this seemed to really. this could really be her niche because of the style that she has, that I think will work really well with Dungeon World. Because you're looking for something of a mix of an old school style, but yet a new school flavor. And I wanted to kind of step away from what other people were doing. I didn't want to make it look exactly like Dungeon Crawl Classics. I didn't want to make it look exactly like Dungeon World, and I think Eva really has that kind of old school new game style. So that fit out really well. Fate. I have our newest Fate released. I did the layout for that today. Worked closely with Bill Collins today to go over that. I think you're going to be really impressed by the artwork that we have for this. It's called Wyverns and Easter Dragons. This is the way Pieces of Fate works is I bring a lot of of artwork that I have, and I show it to Bill, and Bill picks out a piece, and then we work from there as he writes stuff around the artwork that I pick out to go along with that. And I think we've been amazingly impressed. Bill actually said to me, "How do you make money on this with that kind of artwork?" And I had to explain how we were able to do the low-cost art. And so the reason we make money is because we do things backwards. But I'm really excited. I love the idea of how of introducing dragons in this fashion to Fate Core, and doing stuff with Wyverns and Easter Dragons as Bill did it. And Bill is just probably the best GM I've ever played under, and I think his writing, and he's an Emmy award-winning designer already. So getting a chance to work with him and on something small that he can take his time on, that he can work at his pace and gets him excited, I'm really, really pleased with. So I look forward to dropping our next piece of Fate onto you. He, of course, hopefully will be working on the next pieces of Fate to go after that. Robert N. Emerson, who is our editor-in-chief for Adventure Quarterly, is also working on a Fate piece. This one for our standalone game, The Demolished Ones, this one's called A Fly in the Ointment. He keeps telling me he's working on it. He keeps telling me. So I'm really looking forward to what he turns over. There's no rush on it because I'm not ready for it yet. But that's the big thing about my job sometimes, is that I just get there's so much there, and I'm having to delegate more and more as Rite Publishing grows, so that we get more and more work done. And as I need to develop more and more minions. So if you want to be a Rite Publishing minion and help Rite Publishing out with some little things that can help promote Rite Publishing, reviews, feedback, proofreading. If you have graphic design experience, we're always looking for graphic design interns. We give you you get every product we do for free, so there's options there. So don't forget, being a Rite minion is always out there. Especially if you have like Hero Labs and Realms work experience, you probably will really want to reach out to me. Going on to something that I know a lot of my readers want to hear about, Lords of Gossamer and Shadow. I had a great time running demos at AmberCon and working on my home game, No Be So Fierce Adventure, and working on that manuscript. It's kind of stalled a little bit, but that's just because I get so busy. But I really look forward to getting this manuscript together. I have kind of a weird goal of trying to get it all together by the 1st of July, but we'll see how that goes. But the big thing was last week I spent doing layout for Lucian's Guide to the Black Files, editing that and doing the layout at the same time. The art was already complete. The manuscript's in. Just a few nicks and knacks that I've reached out to Rob Donahue, the author, to get his dedication and get his special thanks if he has any. But Lucian's Guide to the Black Files has a really neat overarching narrative. The idea was that he came up with secret files that the Gossamer Lord Lucian, Master of the Grand Stair, as some people call him, Conan the Librarian sometimes, because of the image that Jason Rainfield created so beautifully. But with Lucian's Guide, what's really interesting was to listen to how Rob Donahue's narrative really captures the feel of what it is to be in that plains hopping, swashbuckling type of game. And I think it really works well. This is a great piece for GMs. It's written with this unreliable narrator format, so it's also worthwhile for players to read it because GMs can read it and decide what the truth is and what's secret and so forth. I really like that style, and it's something we're going to be maintaining. The GMs will, it's to give the GM more control and so forth on that. But I like that Lucian's the Black Files really gives this kind of overarching narrative to each one of the files as they relate to Lucian's introduction about people labeling things Typhoonians that aren't really Typhoonians simply because they don't have another frame of reference, and he really deals with that idea and gives us a new terminology called an Echidna to go along with that, and it's really, really interesting. I really enjoyed it. The artwork on this I think is really good. Again, we kind of worked backwards on that. So Rob, I think there was only one piece he didn't use that I had shown to him, and that was the one he liked the most, but he just didn't tie that one in for whatever reason. It's you give a guy 7,000 word limit. If I'd have given him more words, I think he would have easily done it. But we can always work on that one into the next one. That was just Rob's a really great writer. This is the first one that we've really done a larger piece. That is not part of the Kickstarter, so I'm really interested to see how this one sells. It'll tell me a lot about how our future sales are going to go. So I've been really pleased with it so far. We have Gossamer World Stratospheria, which we released and has been selling extremely well. I couldn't be more pleased with that. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback about the artwork. We've got a lot of positive feedback about Matt's writing and how he keeps creating new and interesting worlds that people just don't think of, and how even when it is something you think of, Matt, again, he's just one of those writers that I absolutely trust, to let him run wild with. Just because whatever you're going to read, it's going to be great, and that's the kind of skill you're talking about there, and why I keep coming back to. It's kind of a joke in this industry. The reward for doing good work is more work because you're reliable, which is big in this industry. They're talented, which is also really big. Those two things will get you a tremendously long way in this industry. So, and it's just fun. Every time I lay out one or I read Matt's stuff, it just gets me excited about. Oh, that's a neat world. It would be great to adventure in that world. How am I going to tie that into to what I'm doing with No Beast So Fierce? And Lucian's Guide has some of that. He makes some. Rob makes some references to Matt's work, so there's some little Easter eggs in there for those of you who have read both the Gossamer Worlds and the Lucian's Guides. I think you'll find something interesting there. We're doing more addendums. We did addendums, blessings and curses. We have the iconic characters, which are the NPC, which are the generated PCs that are generated through the examples of play. I had to kick those back to editing because there was just when I ran them as a play test at AmberCon, the big thing I ran into was that we didn't really have, what hanging spells do they have readily available. If somebody had never played before, you want a minor description of what each power does so that they kind of get a gist of an idea. For that kind of use, and so I kind of kicked that back to Perry, and he's working on those now because he's finished editing Nexopolis, which I've handed off to our layout artist Marie Small, who's working on that. She'll be doing a mock layout, so then that we can place the art order, and that should be coming together very quickly. I really want, and absolutely am pretty much saying that this Nexopolis will be our release at Gen Con as a print release. So that's something to be looking for. We'll be at the, our books are being hosted in a booth, which is the Legendary Adventures Terrain, along with Little Red Goblin Games. We'll be in their booth. I'll have a number for you next time as it gets closer. That's just something we're looking at there. The Icon deck um, is almost done. I really can't say enough about how gorgeous the artwork is, how great it was to have the cards. We had a sample set that we used at uh, AmberCon, and it was fun. And everybody was really excited about those. And I'll have those at Gen Con because I'll do the open release for that at Gen Con. When I talk about that these are going to be Gen Con, if you're a Kickstarter backer, you're going to get these before Gen Con. At a minimum, you could go pick yours up at Gen Con, but I entirely expect to have those released for you uh, in the first of July is my plan there, so that you can, you'll have 30 days to get it shipped to you and have it for yourself if you're going to Gen Con, so that you won't have to wait to get into the dealer's hall. I mean, if you want to run it on Wednesday or early Thursday, something. Also, if you are running something Lords of Gossamer Shadow at Gen Con, please just shoot me an email so I know. I'd like to, say thanks and let people know if they want to come walk by and take a look and see what it's like. It'd be interesting. The long walk, I got a really good email back yesterday from Perry. He gave me, this is our big first adventure or sandbox that we're working on that Kindred is writing, and I heard a lot of good feedback from the editor Perry, who's also working as developer, along with Jason Durall, to get this moving along, because we want to finalize it and get it out to our customers. But I've heard some really good movement on that, so I'll be very well pleased to look at it. I believe the first draft is going to be handed over here soon, so that'll make me very pleased to, once you get a manuscript in hand, that's a huge deal. So much time goes into developing a manuscript, but I'm excited about the long walk, because to me it's it's like any first adventure for anything, whether it's the Tomb of Horrors, whether it's the Kobold's Crown, or whether it's something like Kingmaker. The first adventure of a particular thing is a big impact, and it lasts a long time. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that, because this is what I envisioned for it. Addendum Shapeshifting is being worked on by Jason Durall. I talked to him a little bit about that today. That's just a lot of fun. It's taken a little longer because Jason's been working like really long hours and helping friends and doing all kinds of stuff. He's just a great guy. But I think everybody, as good as Addendum's, blessing and curses is. We also have Addendum Empathy, which just needs art and art descriptions, which we have. We have the art description, so I just need to set it aside, and it's in editing. So I'm just waiting for the editing to come back, and then we'll be great from there. The core book Kindle and Nook versions, those have hit a pretty hard delay. I'm going to have to make it as, I can do them without artwork, but the coding to get the artwork to lay out in a Kindle and Nook is not something that I'm extremely great with. And at this point, the work we've done on them, we would have to pretty much start over. So I haven't made a trigger point call on that for right now. And we have the PDF, and that's okay, but I would like to get a Kindle and Nook version out there that makes it easier for folks who want to use tablets, beyond just or just want to read the rules, when they're on a plane or whatever, and don't want to mess around with a PDF. PDF is great, but it's not the ease of reading that a Kindle or Nook version is. We talked about the No Beast So Fierce adventure. That's just a matter of me finishing the manuscript, and it'll move really quickly once I get there. Again, I'm just a busy guy, so it's about setting aside time to do that. And when I have other products that we want to get out, but I love writing. I'm a writer at heart. I love publishing, but not nearly as much as I do writing adventures. And to me, adventures are my favorite thing to write, and they're the most fun for me to play with. I've made some major shifts in it as I've written it, based on feedback from folks. So it's really neat. I'm really happy with it. We've been talking about a sequel to The Long Walk. I've kind of been holding off on that until The Long Walk is done, so that we have a better timeline. Once I have a manuscript turned over, I'm probably going to do more of a pull the trigger kind of thing on that. I think we're going to bring in a hired gun to write that sequel, with Kit Kindred working more as a developer. Kit's help. So just because I think it'll move along faster. Kit is an awesome demo guy. He is an awesome tireless promoter of our games, and I think he will do a tremendous job as the developer because he just has a lot of insights into stuff like that. Uh, I worked up the format of allowing pitches for threats on Anaki, which will be the next part of our. I had a lot of requests for people who wanted to write stuff, so I'm going to kind of, I wanted to create something that was open submission. So I have an idea for this. We're going to see how it goes. A lot of that's going to depend on how I do that. It's going to depend on how well the Lucian's Guide, the black file sells, because it'll give me a budgetary idea that I can work with better. Um, Kickstarter gave us a lot of good funding to get a lot of these really cool products out, and the sales have been able to continue to come in. But I like things to support themselves, not necessarily be supported by what used to come in. So self-sustaining is the model I like to call that. But I'm excited about being able to give people a chance to bring their own ideas into the Lords of Gossamer Shadow. And so threats is the Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki are probably one of my favorite pieces because I do a lot with No Beast So Fierce. So that's something I'm really looking forward to doing. Pathfinder. Pathfinder's big for us. It's right now it's a big fight between what's bigger, what sells more, Lords of Gossamer and Shadow or Pathfinder. If you don't count our Hero Lab sales, then it's Lords of Gossamer Shadow. If you count our Hero Lab sales, then it's Pathfinder. So, and that's just the way that is. But Pathfinder also brings in other sales from sites like Paizo.com itself, the D20 Pathfinder SRD. We do stuff for the Roll20 .net and Hero Labs. There's a lot out there. I'm kind of interested to see if we could ever do something with Realmsworks and Lords of Gossamer Shadow, but we'll see. That's like, again, some of these ideas. Sometimes you just hit ideas and you try to bunt them or kick them out of the park or just get somebody started on it. A lot of times this is just me, thinking out loud, which is probably dangerous. So we have the Pathfinder. So we have the In the Company of Dragons playtest ongoing. We're going to be wrapping that up next month. We've gotten a lot of good feedback for that, but that's kind of trickled down as people have gotten into it. You just find the errors, and we've made a lot of corrections with that. So we're going to be going forward. So I'll be looking at doing some new art for In the Company of Dragons as I've been looking through it. Of course, we have the next Pathways coming up, which is going to have one of the best covers I think we've ever done. The very sad part is that the artist for the next Pathways has already moved on. She got hired as a full-time concept artist, so this is the only thing we'll ever get from her. But it's amazing, and I'll want to show it off when it comes out. I don't want to tease anything about it yet. You'll have to wait till the first of the month when that comes out. Of course, we released The Secrets of the Masked Reveler, which has come on, it's sold extremely well this month. I've been very pleased with it. It was an expensive book to do because we invested a lot in the artwork for this. We invested in the editing. Of course, we invested in the author as well, but I'm very pleased with what have it done. We took a big risk with this one because it was just an archetype. It wasn't a new class. It was an archetype we had already done, but we wanted to really expand it because it had so much fan feedback. It's for those who don't know the Masked Reveler, it is a really great idea. It's just a lot of fun. It's the idea that rather than taking Barbarian Rage, you get Eidolon evolutions based on a mask that you get from the Fae, and it's just a lot of fun. And I really think it's the Masquerade Reveler. So check that one out if you get time. It's just I think if you like playing barbarians and you're looking for something new and different, it's exactly that kind of feel. I've been getting a lot of really beautiful artwork that I haven't been showing off yet because you'll see it when I get closer to the release date. But a lot of beautiful artwork coming in from for Faces of the Tarnished Sook Kickstarter from Juan Diego Dienderes and Camille, who has been helping us with this. We've been going through and working on critiquing the layout. This is going to be a really big book. It's almost 300 pages. So as we've been critiquing the layout with our our layout intern Elton Robb. He's just, man, that boy's dedicated. He just keeps coming back every time I give him something to correct. He just keeps with it. And I know it's frustrating, but man, is he persistent. So I've been extremely pleased with him. Tommy Salama doing another Rite map pack this week that we'll be releasing, the Ocean Cave. So I'm really pleased to still have Tommy working with us. A very talented cartographer. He just keeps growing leaps and bounds. He's going to have huge impacts for us. He's just really great. We released 101 Not So Random Encounters Forest Kingdoms last week. Boy, that thing is just so cool. I'm a huge fan of Kingmaker, for those who don't know. But one of the things that kept frustrating me about Kingmaker was the lack of really cool. The random encounters just weren't cool. They weren't awesome. They were okay, but they didn't. You could have tied the narrative in with random encounters. And I get this from John Ford, who kind of, he would build whole campaigns from random encounters. The guy who runs roleplayingtips.com and used to write articles for Dragon Magazine as well. But John Ford is a really talented author, and I picked up some of those narrative thoughts from him, and we worked on it. And we created 101 Not So Random Encounters Urban, and then Mike Wellham came and did Winter, and now he's done Forest Kingdoms, and he's so excited about it. He wants to do Desert next. But Mike Wellham, when he looked at my Urban, said, you've put a adventure path in a random encounter chart, and I really thought about it, and yes, we had, and I think that's why I really, really wanted to take it and put it in Forest Kingdoms, so that I could do Kingmaker again and actually have fun and entertaining random encounters. So that actually meant something, that weren't so random that they didn't impact the game at all, or had no meaning, or weren't part of the plot or have an impact on it. So I think it's a great piece. It's just when 1d6 owlbears just won't do. This is what it really works with. We have a book on mercenary companies that's in editing. I'm waiting to see. We have a new editor. I think this is her second time with us. She worked on us with The Secrets of the Masquerade Reveler. But Savannah Broadhurst is doing the editing on that right now. She's really talented. She's very eager. She's a lot of fun. She was an intern over at Paizo, so it's great to have her. You never realize how much impact an editor can have on your writing, and how much it can make it change and that kind of stuff. So I'm really kind of pleased to see how well this does. Adventure Quarterly number 6. 5 did really, really well. It was the changeover for us. Doing all original artwork, all original cartography, and now we're doing our second issue in that style. I've already seen the first map from Tommy Salama. All the manuscripts are in for the 3 adventures, so it's Mike Wellham came back to us again, continuing on Ruins Perilous. Brett Boyd is back again. Alex Putnam brings us a brand new kaiju style adventure, so just a lot of fun, which is kind of appropriate. We just had Godzilla come out, so yeah, there you go. Martial arts guidebook. This is just fun. We've settled on an artist finally. I've been doing mock layouts so that we'll be able to make the art orders. I'm about halfway through the layout on the martial arts guidebook. Again, I think this is going to be a Gen Con release. The folks who went through Indiegogo to get this, of course, are going to get this first. But I'm very, very pleased with the idea behind this. So I'm really looking forward to the martial arts guidebook. It's been a long time in development. Its birthing process has been painful, but it's just exciting as I get to sit down and read through it, because this was developed with Ben McFarland being the developer and editor, and writing some of it and working with various different authors to bring it about. And it's a big change for Ben to go from being the lead writer, designer, to being the lead developer and editor. That's a big change for anybody. And that, along with his other writing duties, it can make anything a hard birthing process. But that one, I think, is going to be really exciting, and I hope to have it for you at Gen Con. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We have some other stuff that's kind of working in the background. I don't want to get too much into it. There's the Haunted Quarter. There's the Secrets of the Divine Tomb. More pieces of the Questhaven campaign setting. Again, that's me just finding the time to finish writing it, and it's half done and it's sitting there. just finding more time to work on it. The Kaidan campaign setting is in development. We've got a new author that we're going to be adding on to that because that's been going so slow due to me almost killing. We talk about killing freelancers. Breaking freelancers. We almost broke Jonathan McNulty on that one. So I've been working on it. I did a big section on the magic section, and now we're putting in relics, and we're bringing in a new author here soon, hopefully. It's a matter of, again, me just sitting down and getting stuff done. So I hope to have that set up next week. I'm still working on the Questhaven campaign setting. It's always in my mind. I run it it's my home setting, so it's something I run every 2 weeks. So then it's a matter of getting it into paper and finding the time again to write, because first and foremost I want to be a writer. So, but you can see we've got a lot of stuff to develop. We've got a kaiju product that's kind of in the background. I haven't seen much movement on that, but I haven't. Like I said, a lot of times somebody will be working on something in the background, and then suddenly I'll have a big manuscript in my hands. So that's really interesting. I want to develop kaiju with an idea of how you make them part of an adventure, so they're not just always Godzilla tromping through the city. How do you, the new movie is a good example of how you can bring in the player characters to do stuff like that. The Godzilla comic books were really good at doing that with their Godzilla force that eventually got brought into the core into the movies. Art Adams has developed that, who's a tremendous artist and does almost every Godzilla piece of artwork you can possibly find out there. He's just really talented. Treasury of Magic Items. This is a working title. This is going to be a big book. This is going to be like our 1001 Spells book. It's going to be magic items. That's in layout, and we'll be making some art decisions on that. That's just a neat idea of a book. As popular as 1001 Spells are, all of our magic items that we've ever developed coming out in one big hardback would just be really neat, I think. There's not another book out there like it. There's deep magic and stuff, but this one's really going to be focused on magic items, and will be a great companion piece to 1001 Spells. I originally thought about calling it 1001 magic items, but I think we went well over that number. So the Treasury of Magic Items is my working title for right now. But you're welcome to suggest me other titles, by the way, for that, because I may steal it from you. I talked a little bit with the author of The Secrets of Renegade Art Tapes the other day. He was asking for us to pick another class because he hadn't developed one, but he's been a really busy guy and not had a lot of time to push forward there. And though I keep poking him, every few weeks, because I like to poke him. He's a really talented guy, but Hero Lab Files. Been talking to our Rite coder on that, Andrew Betts, and about our Ultimate Monsters, which takes all the Book of Monster templates, the 101 not so simple monster templates, 101 monster feats, 101 variant monsters, etc., all that stuff, and puts it into coding it up into Hero Lab. And he's also been working on things like let me see what else. The In the Company of Monsters, and getting that coded as well. There was another one that he was working on, but I'll have to double check with him. I don't remember off the top of my head. A big exciting one, and this is where I'll end off today, talking about things that really excite me. Next time I'm not going to do a transparency one. Next time I'm just going to talk about what's on my mind. But I like to get this out there so people know what we're doing. But Adventure Quarterly number 5, we're going to be doing it for Roll20.net, and we had Devin Knight do the top-down virtual tabletop icons. So for every monster you can possibly get, even the random encounters. So this is going to be a really neat thing that we're going to have over at Roll20. It'll be 3 adventures modules that they can get. There's only 2 modules right now available through Roll20.net. So being able to bring Adventure Quarterly there was a big thing. Roll20's been working closely with our coder on that, she's been doing an amazing job working with me, giving me the feedback I needed, giving me the descriptions for the drop down icons, and of course working with Devin Knight, James Hazlett, for those who don't know his real name, uh, is just always fun. He's just so quick and so talented, and it comes off so smoothly and is so reliable. He's like a machine. So I'm really, really excited to that. You know, that's the kind of thing, if you don't, if you're separated from your gaming group and you love something like Pathfinder, getting on Roll20.net to play with your friends and be able to use a virtual tabletop and have it all integrated and coded for you and work smoothly, is something I'm really, really looking forward to. So, a quick shout out. I want to congratulate, I wish I would have done this at the beginning, but I want to congratulate my friend Wolfgang Barr. He gets to do the marquee adventures for Dungeons and Dragons. I guess you call it 5th edition. You can call it next. They're just calling it Dungeons and Dragons. But that's going to be, you know, that's huge. That's a third-party publisher doing your flagship adventures for a new release game. To me, that's just it shows the absolute skill, and you know, nobody's foolish on this, because you know, even Paizo took advantage of that when they did From Sea to Shore. But you know, Wolfgang did the best 4th edition adventure there ever was, called Wrath of the River King. Um, and to see that they took advantage of the idea that, and that was, he did that for Cobalt. He did not do that for D&D, and that was one of the reasons, I think, you know, it shows the power of that, and really shows how cool third-party publishing can be, and that, you know, there's reasons that video game companies outsource some of this work to other companies that have a talent for it. You know, it's recognizing your weaknesses and recognizing the skill, the strengths in other people, and sending that out there. And I'm really, really pleased to see that. I can't tell you, so not just from a personal standpoint of being a third-party publisher, but just, you know, how cool that has to be for Wolfgang to get that kind of support and know that you're going to have, you know, that kind of backup is got to be what really neat. He mentioned that it was neat for him to go back and play in the realms after having been gone from it for so long. So it's all interesting to see how well that sells, whether they continue to do that, whether they reach out to other third-party companies, or whether they're going to do that on an individual basis. Um, and I'll talk maybe next time about, you know, what Rite Publishing would like to do with that, and if somebody reached out to us with something like that. You know, I can dream. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for listening. My name is Stephen D. Russell, head of Rite Publishing. I will talk to you all later. Bye.